I'm amazed I remember all of this. This is kind of interesting that this is all coming back. My name is Kit Harington and I play Jon Snow. At this point, Jon is not able to lie.
I cannot give you what you ask. I cannot serve two queens. And I've already pledged myself to Queen Daenerys of House Targaryen.
He's done with deceit. The world of Game of Thrones is one built on deceit. Political maneuverings, and that's not who Jon is. At the very heart of it, Jon is not that person, which is what makes him different from everyone else in this world and what makes him good. The end of Season 7, we see them heading to Winterfell. And they're going back as not-so-secret lovers.
Hey everyone, it's Fantoni. HBO's dropped some character promos for Season 8, so I want to talk about them. The trailer is definitely coming very soon, so let's get hyped for the final season of Game of Thrones. And what better person to start with than the main man himself. The promo is pretty long and I'm not going to include it all here, but I will leave links to it down below. It's basically Kit Harington reflecting on Jon Snow's journey and teasing what's next. We all know that Season 8 is going to open in Winterfell, with Daenerys arriving with her army and her dragons. HBO have told us it's going to mirror the first episode, with Robert Baratheon arriving at Winterfell to meet Ned Stark. We've got to remember, it's not exactly the same situation, and not everyone who is at Winterfell during the pilot episode is there right now. It's not going to play out scene by scene, but the scene with Daenerys arriving at Winterfell is definitely going to have several callbacks to the first episode. Her coming to Winterfell and meeting the Starks is a pretty big deal. It's the first time she's been there, and it's the first time the Starks will meet her. We know in Season 7 Jon's given Daenerys the North. He's bent the knee and announced her as his queen. Remember, the North don't like Targaryens. We were told this during Season 7. Well, now Daenerys has the North, and Jon Snow will soon be revealed to be a Targaryen. It's all going to kick off. The show's been teasing Sansa being opposed to Jon's decision to bend the knee. Kit Harington talks about how he feels about Sansa, and it's pretty funny how he says she annoys him. She did disagree with his decision to go down south. She thought it was pretty stupid. She knows that Jon's coming up north to Winterfell with Daenerys, and it's likely they're going to come hand in hand and announce a relationship to everyone. This tension between Jon and Sansa is being teased pretty big for Season 8, but we've got to remember for Season 7, the tension was teased a lot more than actually happened. It's obvious that Sansa won't be happy if Jon bending the knee, and she won't be happy that Daenerys is there or the dragons. We've got to remember the dragons are incredibly dangerous, and the northern people are going to be freaked out at the sight of the dragons. But I don't actually think they fly in on dragons. I actually think they arrive on horseback, to show the people they're united. And I also think they're saving Jon Snow riding a dragon for later on, as I do believe eventually he will ride Rhaegal, the dragon named after his father, Rhaegar Targaryen. So this scene in episode 1 is how the show is going to kick off its final season. We've actually seen part of it, even though it was only a tiny clip, with Jon Snow and Sansa hugging inside the courtyard. She's clearly not happy, and it looks like she looks up, and she might be looking at Daenerys. But I don't think she's wanting to call out Jon in front of everyone. She doesn't want to embarrass him, or make him look weak in front of the Northern Lords. But in private, I think she's going to have a right go at him, and tell Jon how exactly she feels. Daenerys is basically coming to Winterfell with all her allies and all her armies, but she needs to win over the Starks and the Northern Lords, and also the people of the North. Expect a big speech about her not being her father and how she's not there to rule them with an iron fist or change the North. She's here to fight for the North against the dead. Sansa will eventually have to get over it, and I think she will. I think that Arya is going to trust Jon, even though she might not be happy with the decision, she trusts Jon, and of course Bran is going to be in a completely different perspective. He knows that Daenerys is here to help, and he knows without the dragons and without her, there's no chance against the Night King. So I think he'll back Jon up. I think the Starks need to back Jon up and keep the North united. The first episode is all about Jon and Dany coming to Winterfell, and all these reunions between the characters. There's going to be disagreements between Jon, Sansa and Daenerys, and they are extremely important, but I don't think they'll be dragged out for too long. Remember, the Night King's on his way down south now, and it's likely he's going to hit the northern castles of the Carhold and the Last Hearth before he makes it down to Winterfell. So it's likely news is going to reach Winterfell about the northern castle's destruction. Then all these politic games and all the squabbling is going to have to stop. The biggest battle in TV history is happening in episode 3 against the Night King, so there's not much time to bicker amongst themselves. They need to trust each other and they need to stand together or everyone's gonna die. What about Jon's parentage? It's extremely important. Bran and Sam know. I don't think they'll tell anyone without telling Jon first. Sam's obviously Jon's best friend, so he's not going to tell anyone without telling Jon first. And Bran's only ever revealed it to Sam, so I don't think he's going to go around telling everyone before Jon finds out. But the biggest question is, when is it going to happen? Jon's parentage is going to shape the entire season, and it all depends when Jon is told. Who else will know? There's also the question if Jon finds out, but I think that's irrelevant. I think Jon has to find out. We've spent 7 seasons building this up, little pieces and then eventually the big truths at the end. Jon has to find out, but what he does with the knowledge, that's a different story. Kit talks about Jon being done with lies and deceit, but we've got to remember Jon's identity is just one big lie. But it's not a lie out of selfishness or greed. The reason Ned lied to everyone and told them that Jon was his bastard was to save Jon, to save him from Robert Baratheon's wrath and anyone else who would want a Targaryen dead, especially the legitimate son of Rhaegar Targaryen. They're also teasing tension of Daenerys, and that's not going to be helpful at all. They need to be on the same side against the Night King, but I think the truth will be a big shock for both of them, but I don't think it's going to drive them apart. Of course it's going to be a massive shock to him, but he has no interest of sitting on the Iron Throne. There's all this talk about whether he skips Daenerys in the line of succession, but we've got to remember the Targaryens were ousted out of power, and then you've got to consider that Jon's already bent the knee, but he's done that without knowing who he really is. But guys, we've known Jon Snow for 7 seasons. We know he's not into politics, he's not interested in gaining power. His main concern is the Night King and saving the realm. But I want to hear what you guys think. Let me know what you think about the tension between Jon Snow, Daenerys and Sansa, and also about Jon's parentage. When and where does it happen? And is it going to cause tension between Jon and Dany? It seems extremely likely that Daenerys is either fallen pregnant or she will, so we've got to consider that as well. It's extremely likely Jon and Dany will get married at some point during season 8, but whatever happens, the revelation about Jon's parentage is definitely going to cause some big shockwaves. If you guys want to see more of these videos, let me know. I am a bit late jumping onto these, but I thought it'd be pretty fun to do them. The season 8 trailer is definitely coming soon, probably in January, maybe early February. I want to get the videos going and get Game of Thrones videos hyped up for the final season. So remember to leave your thoughts in the comments below, and if you love Game of Thrones and you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe and like the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.